Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Trouble in Home Care. Thank you so much for joining us. And we always like to bring to you information that is happening across the country, information that people can find out about how to maybe improve situations in their lives. We're excited to welcome in on Zoom Ms. Vivian Tsai. Vivian, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Keith.
Absolutely. So Vivian is the chair of the College Savings Foundation. And for people that don't know what CSF is, the College Savings Foundation, tell us a little bit about its inception and how it came to be, Vivian.
Well, CSF is an important organization that has been advocating for almost the past 20 years on the benefits of saving early and often through 529 plans that are college and education savings vehicles. We are based in Washington, D.C., and we spend a lot of time on Capitol Hill talking to our lawmakers around the importance of this type of account and the benefits to the American families.
So being able to provide that information to them, and I know you travel quite a bit, you go out and really share this information wherever and however you can, and we're just so very glad that you've taken a little time to be able to do that, to share it with us and people that can be seen here in our viewing area. It's a pretty wide viewing area. We're excited about that, but even more excited to bring them some of the good information that you have about some options.
Yes, excellent. I mean, 529 plans are excellent savings accounts for all families who are looking to save for either higher education or future workforce training. And the reasons we think it's really important, and these are the reasons we speak to with families as well as lawmakers, are the tax benefits that you get with 529 plans, and they allow the fact that you can put money away and let it grow over a period of time from your infant to your college or high school graduate, and then use those funds for education and training purposes. They're wonderful and affordable ways to put money away, $2,500, $100 at a time. And we just love talking about them. So thank you for having us on your show.
Absolutely. And so a lot of people may ask why students, why their parents, and do they still need higher education? You guys have done a lot of research into this and what people really think and believe they would like to have happen.
Yes, in fact, we do survey parents and young people every year. I think that everyone would agree that while a four-year traditional college might not be for everyone, lifetime of educational learning, of training, of we'll call it reskilling or upskilling is probably going to be pretty important to just about everyone. We see that for young new graduates, but we also see them in the form of their parents. Our most recent survey showed us that 86% of parents of young adults are concerned and believe it's very important for their young adults to have education in their future and therefore educational savings. But what's even more interesting is that 41% of parents believe they could use these educational savings for their own personal training and upskilling.
Yeah, and it's a really good point because quite frankly, I don't know that there's a lot of people that they don't always realize, you know what, I'd love to go to college, but I don't have the money. I would love to go to college, but I can't just, I don't have a rich uncle that can just give me money and I can be able to go to that. And I'm not really sure about being able to do that. This is a way to let them think about it early and for them to really be able to make that plan for themselves and their children so they can reach their goals. And quite frankly, if we've learned anything with this shutdown over the last several years, is that there may be an interruption in being able to get a lot of the things that we need. We may have to think outside the box about how to get creative about how to have income coming in.
Oh, absolutely. I think that if anything, the benefits of the 2 to 3 years of disruption absolutely did that. You saw many careers that weren't disrupted at all. You've got office workers who maybe just switched their jobs to working from home. You have other types of vocations where, as first line of defense, healthcare workers saw a real uptick in interest. And so the idea of maybe pivoting into a career like that, because you want a career like that, has been quite attractive for many,
Yeah,
many adults.
right. And even some of those areas where we thought they might not be impacted, it's kind of interesting that I work in the health industry, and I spend a great deal of time and energy talking with, meeting with, working with, and coordinating the care for people at home in home health and hospice. And not only that, I get to see the valuable work that a lot of these healthcare workers do. And interestingly enough, and something we'll talk about in the next segment, my son's a chef. And he's got a culinary degree. And it's interesting how in some areas those people who were working in restaurants really got impacted dramatically. Some didn't. Some were able to kind of have different avenues to do that. Same in healthcare. And so it's one of those things where lots of different industries got impacted in different ways.
Exactly. And so, what the benefits of having an account that I'll call an educational bucket, an earmark fund for future education, is that maybe money is never going to be an option because you have those savings set aside for that day when you do decide that you maybe need a few more classes or a few more points on education.
Certainly, certainly. Ms. Vivian, we appreciate your time. We'll ask you to stick around. We'll take a break. We'll come right back, and we'll talk about some of the specifics and some of the people that are really being able to take advantage of this 529 plan.
Sure, Keith. Thank
All
you.
right, very good. And thank you for joining us. We appreciate you sticking around. A whole lot more Bayou time with Ms. Vivian Tsai talking about this option with 529. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite. Thanks for joining us. We are very glad to be able to continue our discussion with Ms. Vivian Tsai. She is the chair of the College Savings Foundation, CSF, as we were talking a little bit about, and this option for college savings through 529. And so, Ms. Vivian, welcome back to the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes. So we were talking a little bit about some of the people that I get to work with or talk to every day. Those people, two of the careers that they've talked about in 2023, according to this one new list, talks about the fact that people don't necessarily have to have a bachelor's degree, right?
No, absolutely. In fact, there's a stat out there, 41% of US jobs out there right now don't require a four-year bachelor's degree. In fact, many of them require potentially a two-year degree or just certification or skills training.
Right. And so, again, that's one of the things that we as a nation have kind of migrated to, because we need people with certain skills. We need people in those service industries where we need to provide that skill, and they can get a certification, a two-year degree, and potentially a four-year degree. Some people really want to have that four-year degree, but it's an option with 529 to do any of those.
Absolutely. I mean, we all know that there are going to be people out there who really are done with high school after they're done with high school. And so they're looking to really specialize. This is a perfect way for, having an educational savings account is a perfect way to help them segue into a legitimately skilled career like your son. The culinary arts are a skill. And it can be expensive to study to become a chef. It involves equipment, it involves training. And so everything that you can get and utilize in a culinary arts degree can be funded with a college savings plan called a 529 plan.
Wow. And again, the fact that you can go and do be a home health aide and work in that industry, which is so very needed. I know in our community it's very needed. We're very short of that staff. And just, I will tell you, just last night, visiting with a family, that was the big need that they had, that they weren't getting enough services for because we don't have enough people. So a little shout out in our area. This is an opportunity for you. If you didn't know that you could do it, there's a way to go through it and get this information. So chefs as well. Let's talk a little bit about how people can apply and get this and some information that we can share with them about how to do it. And then we'll talk about the program itself a little more.
Oh, sure. My organization, the College Savings Foundation, has a terrific website with lots of information about the reasons and the features of 529 plans. And on the same website, you can also open an account. You can just tell your viewers to go to collegesavingsfoundation.org and click the link.
Right.
Tell me about 529 plans.
Wow. And so it's that simple. It's really nice to have websites that are so user-friendly and easy. And for yours, they can look at it, get more information, and do an application. All of that can be done one-stop shopping, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the software development, quality assurance, some of that information, new openings, those kinds of things that we're seeing is maybe just an option. Again, family member in that industry as well, really seeing a growth in that area.
Oh, certainly. I mean, certifications are really relevant, continuing certification, right? So when you're a technology person, you don't just get educated and get your certification and you're one and done. You're looking at continuous education, continually re-upping on that software, on that technology, on that network systems, maintenance. And so 529 plans are terrific ways to get involved in setting money aside for that type of training. Also vocational training, whether it's in the trades, the electrician, journeyman arts, apprenticeships, 529 plan savings accounts can be used to fund all sorts of training, education, and certifications.
And some of these plans are one of the things you mentioned earlier. It's a federal tax-free if they're used in certain areas, right?
Absolutely. It grows federally tax-free. So if you're familiar with a Roth IRA, where you put money in and it grows over time and you're able to take money out for your retirement when you're ready to retire tax-free, 529 plans work in exactly the same way. You put your money away over time, stuff it in your educational savings account, and when you're ready to use it, and you're using it for qualified higher education expenses, and that's everything from, as I mentioned, equipment, computers, books, tuition, supplies, room, board, all of the likes related to that training.
Yeah, and 529 is also family friendly, meaning that you can use it for your children or you can transfer those funds from one child to another.
That is correct. Many families have the benefit of either their child decides to not pursue education or gets a full ride scholarship, athletic scholarship somewhere. They can very easily transfer the account to a second son, daughter, or a cousin, niece, nephew. It's very flexible.
Now I'm nervous because now not only is my son going to want it, but now my nieces and nephews are going to want it. And I'm just kidding about that. It is a wonderful program that really suggests the best way to not let these big expenses overwhelm you over time. So 529 is certainly a great option. And so we're really excited about the College Savings Foundation and what you do and providing that information. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us. We really appreciate it. And thanks for being able to share that with people all over the country.
I appreciate the time. Thank you so much, Keith.
Yes, ma'am. All right. And that will do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming right here on HTV.